Yo, how's it going, people? So, the topic for today's Sunday Switch discussion is going to be about the Nintendo Switch and its library. More specifically, the sheer amount of ports that we see the system getting. Yeah, it's no shocker to anyone, whether you own the Switch or not, you've seen these games appear more than once. I'd go so far as to say maybe not 90% of the library, but like 87 and a half of the games that are on Nintendo Switch, they're old as fuck. But here's the thing. When we're talking about games being brought back for a new generation, given a fresh coat of paint, whether they are remade for the ground up or their HD remaster collection, that as a whole is not as bad as people think. I know HD remasters and ports get kind of a bad rap, especially with this generation. Well, maybe last generation, considering the Switch is Gen 9 or Gen 8.5. I don't know. Nintendo, dancing to the beat of their own drum. They defy generations. The topic of ports isn't a problem. This generation in particular, I think people have been more vocal considering both the PlayStation and Xbox One. Their first 2 years, for the most part, were ports of not necessarily older games, but games that appeared like a year prior to the system's launching. We saw it happen with Last of Us Remastered. We saw it happen with multi-platform titles like Tomb Raider and Sleeping Dogs. And we're seeing it now recently with HD collections that came out last generation are coming out again on the newer consoles, such as Devil May Cry Trilogy. Contrary to popular belief, I don't really have a problem with that at all. Sure, it kind of does make you feel some type of way when a developer or publisher is pushing these remasters as opposed to new IPs or sequels, but it comes with some, I guess you could say, some weight to it. A lot of people think that they're just putting these out there for the sake of, but there's usually deeper meanings why these publishers would put out HD remasters. In a lot of cases, it's for business reasons. In many cases, it was due to the fact that they didn't have their games ready yet. I think most people were kind of shocked with how well the PlayStation 4 and to a lesser extent Xbox One were doing at their release, that they just didn't have enough time to work on their games. So they put out these remasters. They're quick to make. You can release them in a shorter time span than you would putting out a new title. So if you can make a lot of money with minimal effort, why wouldn't you do that? So in that respect, I don't have an issue with them, provided they actually have some benefits behind them, graphical upgrades, performance improvements, all the DLC, value pack, all that stuff. Bring on these HD remasters, whether they came out on the 6th generation, 7th generation, or in this case, the 8th generation. I love them. I will buy them and support them if there's something I want to play. But with the Nintendo Switch, on the other hand, the sheer fact that it is a portable system opens up a new type of Pandora's box, because a lot of these games were games that appeared on consoles. They weren't handheld titles. You get the occasional one-off like Birth by Sleep going to the PlayStation 3 and 4 and the Metal Gear Solid games that were on PSP. But these are console games that now have the ability to be played portably. So that's why games like Skyrim and L.A. Noire were huge for Nintendo Switch, because those were games that people played, yes, 6-7 years ago, but the fact that they can take it with them anywhere gives them more incentive to pick it up, as opposed to just getting the game again on PlayStation or Xbox. At least that's the way I see it. I had the choice of picking up Skyrim Special Edition on PlayStation 4 or Skyrim for Nintendo Switch. Let's see. I already played Skyrim before on the PC, so why would I get it on PS4 if it's basically to be the same thing, if not worse? So, let's get it on Nintendo Switch. Of course, it's not going to perform the way my PC does, but hey, I could take this version anywhere. Plus, it was a great port, and I wanted support to Bethesda and third party. Same thing for a lot of these games coming out on Nintendo Switch. A lot of these games, whether they are from third-party studios or indies, they just fit naturally with the Nintendo Switch aesthetic. Sure, it's not the most powerful system in the world, but for a lot of these games and the developer's vision, it's more than adequate, especially for the amount of indie games. It feels like every single day there's a new indie title on there. But when people are talking about games getting ported to the Nintendo Switch, they're not talking about those titles. They're talking about the main Nintendo franchises. They're talking about the Wii U games. Because these are well, Nintendo kind of championed the idea of bringing out older titles on the Switch with the deluxe editions. They did it for Mario Kart 8. They did it for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know some people like to say that, oh, no, it's not. It was made for Nintendo Switch. No, it was made on Nintendo Wii and ported to the Nintendo Switch last minute. They did it for Pokken Tournament. So they did it for a lot of their major Wii U titles, and there's some talkings in between the industry that they might be doing more of them. We could potentially see a Super Smash Bros. Port on Nintendo Switch. We could see even some 3DS titles remastered and remade for Nintendo Switch. Is that inherently wrong? No, because let's be honest, the Nintendo Wii U was an abysmal failure. While the games on the system sold to its install base, I don't think they were anywhere close to what Nintendo was expecting. Especially for some of these smaller titles, yeah, they definitely deserve to have a bigger install base, a bigger opportunity to sell. So in that respect, what's so wrong with the developer wanting to re-release their game so they can make more money? With the Nintendo Switch, not only has it sold a lot, but you have that portability aspect. There's a lot of people who are buying the Nintendo Switch who didn't own a Wii U, didn't own a Wii. Heck, they haven't even been gaming with Nintendo since the N64. So for them, these are not old experiences. These are new experiences for the very first time. Sure, I've played a lot of Mario Kart in my past, but I didn't pick up Mario Kart 8 because I didn't own a Wii U. So when I picked it up on the Nintendo Switch, I was blown away. The game is great. Sure, it ain't no Mario Double Dash. I would still rep that to this day. But the game is fun. And I'm sure I'll have the same feeling if they port over some other titles, such as Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. I'm sure even some of the smaller titles that existed on the Wii U, if they ported those to the Nintendo Switch, I'll probably have fun with them. Look at Bayonetta 1 and 2, for example. Bayonetta 1, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, ported to the Nintendo Wii U. Bayonetta 2, Nintendo Wii U, ported to the Nintendo Switch. And they're coming out with Bayonetta 3. So why wouldn't they port those two games? It gives people incentive to try the series for the very first time. They can take it with them portably. And it builds up hype and anticipation for Bayonetta 3. So there's a lot that goes into it other than just, hey, you want to make money and you're going to be putting out this, like, yeah, these companies want to make money, but what's the problem with that? No one is forcing you to buy these remasters. No one's forcing you to buy these collections. No one is forcing you to fill up your Nintendo Switch library with the ports, even though it is 87.5% of it. So by all means, bring on the Wii U ports, bring on the old ports of last generation titles. I'm all for it if it's a game I want to play. You guys know my number one most requested game right now, next to Red Dead Redemption Remaster, is Fallout New Vegas. I would love to play that game again. Yes, I have it on PC. I can play it whenever I want. However, I want to play it on the Switch. I had so much fun playing Skyrim on Switch, so why can't I get Fallout New Vegas? In addition to a lot of other titles that came out last generation. Think of all the hidden gems that released on PlayStation 3 that just didn't get the spotlight. You know, I'm going to try my very best to see if I can grab something without toppling this collection. Come on, you got this, Neo. You can do this. I should have been prepared before the video, but we're going to do it live. Here we go. Here we go. Alrighty. Games like, I don't know, 3D Dot Game Heroes. How many of you guys have actually played this game? Yeah, this is essentially Zelda for a new generation. At its heart and soul, this is classic NES Zelda. Like, seriously, it's shameless in that respect, but it's a lot of fun. So how great would it be to see this game show up again on PlayStation 4 or Nintendo Switch? I would be all for it. I think it would actually fit really well with the Switch's ecosystem. Let's look at some other games that could potentially get ports to Nintendo Switch. Who knows? Maybe Sega might want to bring the Yakuza series to Nintendo Switch. It's primarily been PlayStation this whole time, but they've dabbled with Nintendo versions. They did a Wii U version of Yakuza 1 and 2. Obviously, that wasn't the best idea. But who knows? With the Switch selling, we could get a Yakuza collection. We could see a port of Yakuza Zero. Serial? They're not particularly demanding games, so why not? Let's see. What other titles do we have here from the PlayStation 3? that we could see on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, man, games like House of the Dead Overkill. It worked great on the Nintendo Wii. The Switch does have that IR pointer with one of the Joy-Cons. I heard it's not as good as the Wiimote. But yeah, games like this could definitely fit that narrative. They could release it download only, and I'm sure a lot of people would still have a blast playing it. Heck, they released Resident Evil Revelations, so why can't we get a port of Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil 4? I think Jim Sterling said it best. You can judge the viability of a platform depending on how many times Capcom has released Resident Evil on it, especially Resident Evil 4. I think that game probably has a smartphone port in development. And yeah, why not just full-on trilogy titles if you don't want to do individual games? Can we get the Mass Effect trilogy on Nintendo Switch? 1, 2, and 3 on the go. The Journey of Commander Shepard to wash the sheer disaster and the taste for Mass Effect Andromeda out of our mouths. I think this would be fantastic on Nintendo Switch. And that's how it stands, man. Yeah, I'm excited to play old-ass games again. I'm excited to play these sort of games that I'll probably never play again because I don't want to plug in my PS3, even though I'm excited for the sequel. So games like this can come out on Nintendo Switch and play it anywhere. Because I'm going to be real with y'all. Yes, I would play those remasters on PlayStation 4, but if it came down to playing a new game like Horizon Zero Dawn or playing Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 for the millionth time, I'd probably lean towards Horizon and then go back to Kingdom Hearts immediately because it's awesome. But with the Nintendo Switch, I don't have to make that decision. I could play Horizon at home and then play Ni no Kuni HD on the go. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why all of these games are selling. That's the reason why they could port titles like Disgaea 5 onto Nintendo Switch and have it sell 200,000 copies. You know, I got Disgaea 4 on PlayStation 3. Shout out to my homie Jamal. He got this for me for Christmas a few years ago. But I'm loving Disgaea 5 on the Switch because I can play it everywhere. Look at Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on Nintendo Switch. That game sold a crap ton on the system. It's one of the most played and one of the highest selling games for Nintendo Switch because people like playing it portably and people want these experiences on their platform. The Switch demands games, as weird as that sounds. So the sky is the limit, man. There's so many games that I would want to see. I can't list off all of them. So basically anytime a publisher wants to put a game on Switch and it's a good quality port, I will be there day one. And in some cases, if we can get games that were like a big hit this generation, games that existed on consoles but they were ported to handhelds with some upgraded features, you know, maybe we could see those sort of games come out on Nintendo Switch. You know, I can't really think of anything right now. Maybe you guys might be able to type something down in the comment section. Maybe like a Crimson Edition. Oh, what is that doing? On display like that? You sneaky. You sneaky. You up to no good, fam. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, comment down below what games you would love to see appear on Nintendo Switch. I'm all for the ports, man, because we're still getting the first-party games. We're still getting the third-party games. So all this stuff is just like cherries on top, man. I will so rebuy these games again. Totally. For me, for now, my name is Angel, signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.